Greetings. Welcome. Um, Today's topic is realism edgy? This is a dear topic to me because it relates to an older topic I made, which is what was that? Realism versus what was it? Abstractionism, whatever. Whoever lives in a reality that's like romanticism. There we go. Romanticism versus realism, and the way it goes is, as a quick recap, is realism is people who enjoy realism are the people who see an act of fiction that depicts realistic ways of doing things, and therefore enjoy the spice of fiction and romance, if you will, into a realistic situation, while romanticism is taking a romantic ideal, um, larger than life situation, and basically adding sprinkles of realism to it so you can relate to it, and then expanding upon that. And a lot of people, like when they play games and they're too realistic, they consider them bad or distasteful, or they're not up to their aesthetic standard. And for a lot of times when you ask them why, it's like because like it's edgy. So as a primary example, Black Mirror, right? Oh, I don't like Black Mirror because it's too edgy. It's all about technology being bad and shit, and that's why I don't like it. Like they don't tell us what's good in technology; they tell us what's bad and what's wrong, and we're always gonna fuck it up. And humans are always bad and all that, and and that's edgy. And I'm like, first, is that bad? Second, is it? I don't know. I don't think it is. I don't think being realistic is being edgy, right? Like I don't think you that somebody, just because they're depicting something that is very close to reality, and reality is horrible, therefore whatever is produced is horrible, is considered like out there, like postmodernism. Like ooh. I don't think so. I think proportionality is a very well needed virtue here. Let's proportionalize how there's a difference between showing, for example, a universe based on medieval times and showing Aragon and Lord of the Rings versus it's the Lord of the Rings versus Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is all about the suspense and it's all about killing and horribleness. If I'm gonna describe Game of Thrones, I'm gonna use a quote from George R. R. Martin, which is, um, Tolkien loved to tell you that Aragon was a good king, but if if Aragon, which is the king in Lord of the Rings, for the people who don't know, if Aragon was in my universe, or I wrote Aragon, I would ask, what's Aragon's tax policy? Does it work? What do the common people think about that? And that's the basis, right? That's the realism part. Um, and a lot of people find that boring, right? Oh, tax policy, yeah, I'd rather see the king, you know, suffer against injustice, blah, 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 Or I would love how to see that. Like I personally would love how the king deals with desertion or betrayal in his ranks, or scheming, court scheming, or the fact that the king has to is in love but has to marry someone for the good of the realm, and then he takes on a mistress or not, and the lover becomes a mistress, and the lover is married too, and there's a tanglement here, and it leads to sadness because everybody's hiding secrets and could not uphold their end of their virtuous vows. That's fun to me. I see that and I'm like, I can see that happening in real life, therefore I like it. um, but a lot of people look at that as like, ew, it reminds me too much of real life. They look like real people. Yeah. You know? I'd rather much live in a fantasy world where everything I want is the way it should be. Where the physics works like I want it to. uh, it's just. This is more of a rant than anything. I see this being said too often, and I don't think it's true. I think there is an element of aestheticness or aesthetic value to realism and being realistic and depicting real events of mundane people and how they deal with things. And I believe that gives us like an element of beauty often missed in romanticism, which is the simple things in our life are good. You know, nobody nobody cares about the tea you're drinking, right? If somebody's seeing you drinking a cup, it's like, oh, drinking a beverage, or whatever. But this can be a very enjoyable experience, right? Hell, that's why I record these videos, right? They're therapeutic. I don't care much how many people see them. It's just, it's simple. So when I see somebody, for example, like there's this huge scene where somebody's sitting and he's preparing coffee, and that sets up the next scene. A lot of people just look, it's like, get to the point where the drama happens. But, you know, it's real for a person to talk in a specific way while they're making coffee, and they drag on, and then, you know, they stir their drink as they're doing something, and then they drink it, and people ignore all these details, and all they focus on is, you know, the larger things that happen, the major events. You know, there are just so many details in fiction that depict the realism, that gives such good structure to it. Just gives like that element of, it's like seasoning, you know. It's just, it reminds me, like, there's a person who was making comics, right? And they, you know, they drew their characters and all that, and that person, they decided to give proper proportionality and weight so people can imagine how they look, right, in real life. So this person is 5'8", this person is 6 feet, this person is whatever. All right, I appreciate these additions of realism, I really do, right? And then they added their weights as well. So, oh, I can know how heavy they are too, okay. Unnecessary, but welcome nonetheless. And so I saw that the length to weight ratio does not match the proportion they put. So, you know, they've depicted somebody who is long, right? Like tall, sort of muscular, not buff, but muscular, and they gave them a mass of like 68 kilograms, about 155 pounds, or towards that, right? Somewhere close, 160 pounds probably. And I looked at that, I'm like, no way this length and this body proportion equals this weight. So there's something wrong with the realism here. So I told said person, that person got angry at me. It's like, I'm trying to depict something, it's a fictional world. Then why did you put the kilograms there? Why did you put the length? Nobody cared. But you put them to add an element of realism, right? So when I try to correct your realistic depiction, I'm the bad guy, you know? I'm the one who doesn't care for art because my realism buzz has been killed. You know? It's like, you know, watching a movie and about, you know, 300, and like that's romance to the maximum, right? And you look at it and they're like Spartans did not dress like that. Why is Xerxes so bad? Ew. Why is this like the romantic depiction? Why don't we see a more realistic Battle of Thermopylae? You know? Ugh, you know, and somebody comes to you and it's like, no, it wouldn't have been artistic then, or wouldn't have been good, or would have been fun. And I'm like, you know, I just give them that look, which is, why wouldn't it be? Realism in its core is attention to very good detail that represents life. And the accurate depiction with the right layering of romance to make it beautiful. How's that horrible? How's that bad? symbology and romanticism and character arcs are great and wonderful, and they're part of any show and any good expression of art. Even fucking drawings and music has these things in them if you look hard enough. Um, but that doesn't mean that adding that extra layer of realism does not add crisp to your fried chicken. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the issue. I don't think realism is edgy. I think it's just another form of beautiful depiction, and go easy on it. Give it a shot. You'd be surprised. With that, on that note, like, comment, subscribe, share, blah blah, and see you on the next one.